Good morning. It's a Flat Cat Cafe Racer. I'm out here at Dennis Dillon Power Sports today, taking a look at some new models that came in. So the first one I haven't seen in a long time, and actually I had thought they quit making it. Let's take a look at it. It's an FJR. I didn't realize they were still making these bikes. They look pretty good. I like the color, it's blue. They're kind of big, they're kind of heavy. Kind of the next model that's kind of interesting to look at. It's an XSR 900, orange and white. It's a pretty bike. I say it's a pretty bike. Other than that seat hump down there, I think it's a pretty nice looking bike. It looks, I think they have some, I don't think we're going to get them, but some of the kits you can get those to make those look a little nicer. But this hump's a little bit big. It needs like a seat cowl or something going over that. I don't see it being very useful as a passenger seat, but then again, there are passenger foot pegs, so I guess they intend somebody to use it. And the TFT on it is very small, but that doesn't mean it won't ride well and be a really attractive bike to have around. There's another one over in the blue, but I kind of like the orange and white. Another kind of striking bike, maybe a little bit more subtle, is this MT10 SP. I think the motor is one of those really attractive pieces on this, because it's got that cross-plane motor and it's got a lot of horsepower. I think it looks pretty nice. The front, I'm not real convinced on the front of many Yamahas. I think I can live with that. The rest of the bike looks fine to me. But then again, it has that really small TFT on it too. But it would be a hoot to ride, wouldn't it? Let's see. It's a little bit different style TFT, but kind of the same size font and stuff. Not an old man's bike for sure if you have a problem with your eyesight. 650 Super Meteor here. It's kind of one of the newer models. I don't know about this. Kind of cheesy with this roll-in feel lacquered over like that. Just a little decal. I kind of like the way the rear end of this bike looks. Nice. Mufflers look nice, pretty balanced. Look like they're pretty choked off of that, like 1-inch hole in them. But very pleasing to the eye bike. I think that would be one of the nicer roll-in fields. Just judging coming down into the GS line, looks like they're still all the 1250s. They don't have all those X headlights, which indicate they would have a 1300s in. So just looking at the lineup here, I really don't see any of the new 2024s here. It'll be interesting to see the R1250R. I kind of like that, and the RSs, and maybe the R9Ts, and of course the new models will be the R12s. The only thing they have here in the R19 range will be this Scrambler right here. And if anybody's ridden one of those, they're kind of harsh with the suspension. So they have the the 310s and stuff. Looks like I have a R18 here, which is pretty big boy. It's got the bags on it, the bagger. It can all be yours for 22 grand. So let's take a look over here at this BMW R1250 RT. Now the 1250 RT has went from a pretty good looking bike to being a little nose heavy, and I think it still is a little nose heavy, but it looks different in different paint configurations. So you can see it's pretty bulbous right in here, but oh my, this is a 2024 here. And it's got the big TFT on it, the bags and things like that. I suspect the price list here doesn't include the freight and setup, and it's at over $28,000. So I remember when you could get a BMW RT like the 1100s, they were about $13,000. So we've doubled in price. Of course, we've added features and things to this. But sometimes they add things that you really don't want. It's got all the, cruise control, where it'll slow down for you. And I think it has I don't know if it has the blind spot monitoring in the mirrors. I don't think so. But for $28,000, almost $30,000 getting out the door, should have almost everything, shouldn't it? Maybe somebody to chauffeur you around on it. Okay, style wise, I guess the one that really jumps out at me is this Duoville in the red. They have another in the black. I'll show you the black. But those pipes coming out there, come on. You got to give it to them for that. You got to give it to them for that. I mean, it is a super looking bike to me. And I really wasn't a big fan of the first ones. I'm not real sure about putting turn signals there. I'm not a real big fan of the flat, but everything kind of works together. This one is sold, so don't sit on them. So we'll go over and see if we get a price on the other one. I don't think they were marked with the pricing here. Let's take a look at the black one over here. No, I don't see any price on that either. So this jumps out at me style wise. I'm not too much on this Desert X thing. Not too much on that. The Multistradas, they look pretty good. V4 Multistradas looks pretty good. It's definitely rideable. When I'm looking at bikes, I'm definitely looking at the rideability of the bike also. If you can't sit on it for more than about 30 minutes, then it's not a good choice for me. Well, that kind of wraps it up for my pilgrimage over to Dennis Dillon. Curiously enough, one thing that I didn't see in here that I saw last time were the Urals. So I have to go and see if they have the Urals or ask about why they don't have them. It turns out that did had 3 of the 6 Ural sidecar rigs, but they weren't on the floor. So mostly the BMW line still 2023s, so there's no R12s to look at, or no 1250Rs or anything like that. I'm not talking to myself, but I think the Ducati line looks pretty nice. The 1300s have not hit the showroom here yet. As I was walking out the door, they were in fact selling their very first GS 1300 they had delivered. Turns out that they are having problems with some BMW is with some of their sub-tier suppliers, and I think they have some quality issues with one of the brake reservoir components. The Royal Enfield line looks like it's pretty up to date. I mean, they got the 650 Meteor and things like that, so that's pretty good. The Yamahas, really glad to look at some of the 900s that I haven't seen before. You know, the FJR I haven't seen forever, and that was pretty cool to look and see. So they got some pretty nice stuff. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can find out. Meanwhile, I think Mr. Bill and I are going to go get our drag race numbers at the motorcycle show. It's not a motorcycle show. It's it's like an RV show, and we're going to go up there, and that way we can pick up our drag racing numbers. Mr. Bill has to be number 1, and he insists I be number 2. Except we know what's going to happen at the drag race, right? He's going to be number 2. Bye. Join me and my friends at Flat Cap Cafe Racer for riding and racing. Please subscribe.